Hello and welcome back to another edition of Check It Out. Okay friends, in today's video, we are going to be unboxing and installing these surfboard racks right here. And I'll also do a review on them because I have some other racks that are the same and actually some that are really similar as well. I've got several sets of these. We've got a lot of surfboards in my family. So we'll walk through those. First of all, I want to tell you this is made for SUPs, the stand-up surfboards. However, that's not what I'm going to put on here. I buy these for my regular boards. We got shortboards, longboards. We do have some SUPs. This one will be longboards and shortboards and boogie boards and all kinds of stuff. I'll put a link down in the description to this one right here. Each one of those sets of prongs that stick out will hold 40 pounds. All right, let's dive in and let's take a look at what we got. Okay, so I'm unboxing some of the stuff here. It came really nice, packaged up, all bubble wrapped up. So we've got two of these pieces right here, which are going to connect to the wall. And I'll tell you what, these are heavy duty. Doesn't even feel like aluminum to me. It feels like steel or something. Very, very heavy duty. And then these are the prongs they're going to stick in. And look at this, it's just a nice, easy like plug and play. So you just click that right into there, nice and easy. And of course they come all padded. So this has a nice pad to protect your boards. Here's the mounting stuff here. So heavy duty bolts that are gonna go into the wall. And of course we've got some anchors here if we need them. I'm gonna try my best to get these into studs so that we will not be using these drywall anchors, but they're here if we need it. So my advice is get a stud finder, put these guys into the stud nice and secure, and then you don't have to worry about it popping off the wall. So here's the current surfboard racks right here. You can see we have like 2 and 3 boards on each one of these racks. This is again a really nice set right here that I purchased. So they hold a whole bunch of stuff, but it's full, so we need another one. So I'm gonna come over here in the garage, right up in this upper space right here, and we'll put another set. This new surfboard rack will go right up over here. So I do want to measure out. I've measured from this point here all the way to where this other rack is. I've got about 9 feet to work with. Most of the boards that I'm going to be putting up today are going to be 8 foot or under, so this is a nice space to have it here. So our next step is to go in here and let's find these studs. Okay, I've gone ahead a little bit and I marked up my studs. I'll show you how I did that and I'll show you how I double checked that this is the right space. Let's take a look at my last rack that's over here. And this one, while it is an excellent rack and it's doing a great job, you can see my top part of the rack. I'm not even using it. It's all the way up towards the ceiling. There's no room for space. However, for me, I had to do it because my space down below just wasn't there. For this one here, I can go a little bit lower. So I do not want this rack to go all the way up to the ceiling. I want to leave some space. So I'm going to come down a good maybe 8 inches. And that way I can use that top rack to hold some surfboards. So I've got a little space and I might go right down towards here. Now again, I told you I measured this out. It's about 8 feet left to right that I have to work with. So let's take a look at how I found the studs. However, this helps so much. A good stud finder, and again, I'll put a link down in the description below. This is such a time saver and it just really helps you from putting a million holes in the wall. Here's what I moved into when I bought this house. Look at all these holes. I think this is probably the homeowner trying to search for studs. And what a pain in the neck. Now I have to either leave them or fill them and repaint them. So anyway, get yourself a stud finder. And here's the way it works. I'm gonna put it right here on the wall. I'm gonna turn it on and then I'll wait for it to stop beeping and then I'll move it over. And then right there, it indicates that's the beginning of my stud. There's the end of the stud. So again, I might go from this direction here. And it tells me right there is my stud and it ends right there. So now I know that's a stud right there. Stud should be 16 inches on center. So I could grab my measuring tape. So now I know right where that stud is. And what I can do is grab my measuring tape and put it right maybe on the middle of that. And then stud should be 16 inches on center. You can double check, especially if your house is older, it might be something different. So I drew a line where this stud should be, and then I actually did that for 4 studs. And I did it in pencil, of course, and I did that so that I can kind of step back and find the best studs that are gonna work for me. So I'm gonna put my vertical pieces 32 inches apart. So I'm gonna use this stud right here, and then I'm gonna skip this stud, and I'm gonna move over here to the next stud, and I'll mark that one up. And then after I mark them and put this vertical line, which should be the middle of the stud, I'll go back with a stud finder and make sure I got it right before we go on. Okay, now I have my wall all marked up where I want to drill my holes and then secure my bolts. So let's take a look at what I've got here. This is a nice Makita set. I've got my drill ready to go with the correct size drill bit. And then also I'm actually going to use this second drill right here, which is an impact. And what I'm going to use that for is to get these bolts that the product came with, right? So I'm going to use this washer and this bolt, and I'm going to pre-drill a hole with this drill right here. I'm not going to use this drywall anchor. I don't want drywall. I want to get into the stud if I can, which I can in this application, and you should be able to too. But what I'm going to do is cheat a little bit, and what I mean is you can use a socket wrench like this guy right here, or what I'm going to do is use this drill with this adapter right here by Milwaukee. Again, I'll put a link to that in the description below. Saves you a ton of time, and that way I can just hook my sockets straight up to that, and then I can bolt my bolts right where they go. This will save a bunch of time and a bunch of wrenching. Really great shortcut. Now I know these are a little bit on the expensive side. Again, I'll put a link in the description down below. I'm going to drill this hole right here, which my bit fits through, and just give me a pilot hole. And if you look, I actually already did that. So I'll go ahead and drill that out. Again, you got to make sure that you got the right size drill bit in there. So we go straight in, straight out. Now we should be all ready to go. So the next step I'm going to do is actually put in one of the bolts just to make sure everything looks good, and then we can make it vertical. And then I'll use a pencil to mark out my next 2 holes. We'll pre-drill them and pop it in. So now I scooted it over just a little bit. Now you can see I've got it perfectly level on here. I've got a little tape just kind of holding it still to help me to video. That bolt looks pretty good. We'll snug it up at the end, but let's go ahead and put in the bolt down here as well as the one up here. All right, number 1 is all set to go. Actually, what I'll do is go ahead and get my hand ratchet and just make sure that these are the right, that I have them as tight as I want them to go. Sometimes that's a little bit hard to determine with the drill. So we've got all 3 of those in. They're all into the stud. It is level. We're ready to go. And now we'll just do the exact same thing. Again, I'm going to skip a stud and put up my second one right here. Okay, the second one went in nice and smooth and easy. So they're both into studs now. They're both nice and vertical, both at the same height, which is important as well. And let's get in those extension poles. So on these poles, they have these little push buttons right here. So they push down, and then on these, they have a hole there. So you're just gonna line them up and gently push them in. Now, again, when we install these brackets, maybe I should have said this earlier, but you wanna have these pointed upwards. Okay, these little knobs need to be pointed upwards. And the reason for that is that these poles have a slight bend up. So now we'll just go like this and line it up, and we'll just push in this button a little bit to get it started. And boom, nice and in there and in place. Awesome. So that's what that first one looks like. I can tell you this would be nice and sturdy. Again, you can see it's a little bit longer, but that's exactly what I want. So some of these big surfboards will fit really nice and neat. And then we'll stack the smaller surfboards on top of them. Okay, all 6 of the extension poles are in, and it looks great. Let's get some surfboards up there. All right, there it is, the final product. So I've got 3 learner surfboards from Costco, by the way. These things are awesome if you have young kids. So I got those 3 boards up there. You can see there's plenty of room to put some extra stuff. Don't forget each one of these sets. So 3 sets, each one of those sets can hold 40 pounds. So this can hold 40 pounds here. Well, this set of bars can hold 40. The next set of bars can hold 40. So you can put a few boards up there, but you gotta be smart what kind of boards you have. Some of the SUPs can weigh a little bit more. Some of the foam boards can weigh a little bit less. So be smart and don't go over that 40-pound limit. Hey friends, I hope this video helped you out. If it did, do me a favor and hit subscribe, hit that like button. Don't forget, check out the description. I'll put these racks and maybe a few other racks as well. This one had 3 bars. This other rack I have here has 4 bars. So I'll put both of those in there for you. And I'll also put the different tools that I used and links to all of those. Hey guys, make it a great day. Have fun. See ya.